Welcome back to Kansas City. My name's still Tom Stein. Today, we're going to chat about the 5 questions that people ask or that we answer from time to time of brokers that have been working with ATA for sometimes months, years, decades. We've got some brokers that have been working family to family for a half a century, which is pretty cool. So that you guys can go from wondering where it is you can play with ATA to knowing and being more confident in the marketplace so that we can help Main Street continue the fight with Wall Street so that they can take care of the people they care about, their employees, on a day in and day out basis. Number 1, people ask about level funding, and even though level funding has been around for quite some time, for a quarter of a century at least, we've been doing small group level funding or self-funding for a little over 3 decades. People still wonder how small you can go. Can you really go small group, Tom? I thought self-funding was for mid-sized group. We can go down to 5. Level funding really works for groups from about 5 up to about 100. It's a great way for these business owners to play with the same regulations as the big boys using self-funding and then have some protections that allows them to go down market. So when you're chatting with your clients, you can level fund down to 5 up to about 100 with ATA, and that's kind of the market that we play in. The next question that we get is, Tom, how do we get paid? I've got some groups that fall inside of that market parameter. How is my commission set with ATA? Folks, it's flexible. Just realize that every dollar you put in commission is another dollar of cost that you're transferring to your client. Now, there are caps that we have on the commission that you can charge, but the commission with ATA is flexible. We can go down to 0 if you want to do a fee for service or some other shared savings model with your client, put together your own contract, or we can go up to certain limits. But in general, if you want a PEPM of $25, of $35, of $0, let us know during the quoting process because we are quite flexible in most situations with the commission. Number 3, do I need individual health questionnaires? Yes. With level funding, health questionnaires are a must the smaller you get. The more you go Main Street centric, the less you go to Wall Street mentality or vibe or shop size, the more you're going to need those IHQs. So IHQs is a short way of saying individual health questionnaires. They are enrollment forms. What we do with those is we review each and every one, and in that review, we then price the reality of that group because every health plan in self-funded and level funding is priced around the actual people in that group. The more detailed the information we have, the more they are priced not to the market, not to what their competitors are, not to everybody in that town, but to the people inside of that group, which is why sometimes it's not a great fit. Sometimes it is a great fit, but that is why you need the IHQs. The better the data, the better the rate, or the more accurate the rate. Number 4, states that we can play in. We play in about 35, 38 states as ATA. Most of the country that is not sapphire blue. Now, we'll have a link here of the states that we can currently play in. Realize this changes from time to time, so this will be right at the time at which it's posted. But ask sales and marketing, ask your rep what it is that we're currently playing with in each state. But in general, the more sapphire blue a state, California, New York, Maryland, the much more difficult the regulators make it for us to play. And in that moment, we can't really play and help Main Street as much as the laws are set up kind of against them, in my mind. Number 5, participation. Inside of these plans, when we are enrolling plans, there is a participation requirement of 50% of the eligible employee group. So if you have 500 employees, but 450 of them are part-timers, they wouldn't be eligible for the plan. So you need 50% of that remaining 50 people or 25 enrolled into the plan. That is a hard number. You need that. And the reason why you need that is because of a thing called adverse selection. Self-funding is closer to what philosophical insurance is, where they're pricing the actual risk and then protecting against cataclysm, rather than saying we are healthcare finance, which in my opinion is what the traditional fully insured model is. And that's a way to finance healthcare rather than protect against unknown risk. So we need 50% of the eligible employee group or member group to come on board, and that is the participation requirement. If you're a really small group, there's some caveats to that. If you have less than 25 eligible, then it's the state minimum, and whether that's 5 or 10 or 12, it depends on the state. But there is a caveat there. When you go to a really small group or true Main Street, you need the state minimum for ATA, or how we read the state laws, which typically is 5 enrolled. Those are the 5 big questions that we get on a day-to-day basis that even you, level funders who've been doing this with us for decades, could benefit from a little refresh. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Get out there, keep fighting for Main Street. America is back. We're growing. We're fighting for what we've always been built on, which is the backbone of America, the Main Street, the guy who takes care of not just his customers, but his employees, and is a pillar of his community. If you're out there fighting for those guys, then let's go the same direction. Let's fight together. All right, we'll see you in a bit.